Hello, everyone. Welcome to this data importing tutorial for your Upkeep locations. My name is Renee, and I am a product expert here at Upkeep. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to bulk import your locations onto Upkeep for the first time. You do have the option to add your locations manually one by one, but I'm going to show you in today's video how to bulk import that using a CSV file. That way, overall, you can save some time and resources just importing that all at once. So for our agenda today, we'll just do a quick overview on what locations are and kind of give you a little bit more insight on that, and then go into the actual Upkeep application and show you how to actually import your parts using the Upkeep software. And then finally, we'll just end with the Upkeep resources that you have at your disposal. And just a little overview on locations, or the location tab per se. You do have the option to import new location data for the first time. You have the option to export your currently existing location data. And you also have the option to bulk update your currently existing location data. There are 2 levels of location hierarchy as well. So you have a primary location as well as a sub-location. So primary location would be the main building, plant, facility, and the sub-location can be anywhere from a room, a floor, a zone, or anything of that matter. And these are the available files that you are able to use to import as well. But we're going to now go into the Upkeep system and show you how to import for the first time. All right, now when you log into Upkeep for the first time, you will be taken to the Work Orders tab. We're just going to go into the Locations section here on the left-hand side. If I actually click on it, perfect. And then here you can see all the locations that I've already had in the system. You do have the option to bulk delete certain information as well if that is needed. I'm going to leave those alone. You have the option to view if you have the address in the location. You have the option to map view your location list as well. You also have the option to customize the table view, just if you only want to see the location name, or maybe just by the address, you have the option to toggle those on as well. And as I did mention, there are 2 levels of location hierarchy when working with Upkeep. These are the main buildings or restaurants if in this example. And if you see to the far right, there's a little number 4 icon. That's just indicating the number of sub-locations that is at this primary location. So if you do a little drop down, you'll be able to see the other sub-locations that are associated to this primary location. So again, you have the option to create 2 levels of location hierarchy. And if you do want to add locations manually, you'll be able to click on this blue button on the top right-hand side. If you are going to be just include the title, the address. If this was a sub-location, you'll be able to include the parent location here in this tab. If there are any workers or any team members, vendor, customer information that you want to include, you can add that as well. But what we'll do is actually click on the 3 dots here. As I mentioned, you do have the option to export your location data, but we're going to click on import, and this is where you'll also have the option to import new data or update your currently existing data, and you also have the option to export your current location data here as well. And if you click on see examples and tutorials, you'll also be taken to our help center where it shows you how to actually import your new location step by step, and just some how-to tips and all of that, which is really nice. You also have the option to download the sample template. The template that we do provide is a requirement. You would need to utilize this template in order to actually import through Upkeep. So what we'll do is download this template. You also have the option to start the location import process live. And on this tab as well, you also have the option to, if you download the template, upload that template from here. So this is pretty much what the sample CSV template will look like. Pretty much the same exact tabs or information if you are going to be creating it manually, but you have a few options. You can create them manually by clicking on that blue button, as I mentioned in the beginning. You can do the import process live. So if you have a ton of information, you want to just add that here live, you can add that as well. Or, you can download that template that I just mentioned, and then you can upload the CSV or, all of these acceptable file types as well. So in this case, what I have already done was downloaded the sample CSV template. And what I like to do is just utilize the Google Sheets just because it's easier for me, but you can use Excel, as I mentioned, or anything like that. But yeah. Once you do import or download the sample CSV template, you'll notice here there are some importing notes. You are able to delete this column before actually importing, and then just make sure all of your parent locations are there before your children location. So if you are going to be importing both your parent and child locations or primary and sub locations, just make sure that you have maybe the primary building first before you have the sub-location of that primary building. So that's just some helpful information, so just keep that in mind. But in this case, what we'll do is just delete this column because we don't need that anymore. And now going into column A, the location ID, this is only going to be applicable if we are updating our current location list. So in this case, because we are importing new data into the software, what we'll do is just leave this blank. The name of the location is pretty important, but this is the name of the primary location here and or the sub-location here as well. You have the option to add your address or anything like that, the longitude, latitude of the location if you have that information as well. And then here's where you would put the parent location name as well. And also, I forgot to mention, but for row 1, just make sure this is this is case sensitive. If there are any changes to this title column, you will likely have issues importing the CSV. So just keep that in mind and just leave row 1 alone. But other than that, you'll be able to include the parent location name here. And if there are any technician or just any people that are assigned to this particular location, you're able to add their email addresses that way. If there are any team members that are associated with this location, you can add that information here. Any customer assigned to this location or any vendors that are assigned to this location, you have that option to add that there. But for now, what I'll do is just fill this out just so that you can see how that looks like and then import. So give me just a moment. So I've gone ahead and filled out the CSV template. So as I mentioned here is my, for column A, I'm going to leave that blank because this is new data that I'm importing. And for column B, I just had the name of the restaurant. And if you can see here to the far right, this is a child or sub location. So just making sure that it's underneath the primary location that I'm going to be adding. Then I included the address, and then other than that, none of the other information was applicable, so you can leave that blank if needed. And then just also something to keep in mind, as I mentioned before, information here is case sensitive. So the parent location name would need to exactly match the information that I've added here. So I did make sure I just copied and pasted it and just made sure that everything was aligned there. So I won't have any issues. So essentially what this is going to look like is this is my primary location and this is the sub location for this primary location. So we're going to go back into the locations tab here, going to go to the 3 dots, import. And then from here, we're going to start the location process. We're going to upload our data or sample CSV. Let me make sure if it's this one. I believe it's this one. Okay, perfect. All right, so you'll be able to verify if the first row does contain the column names. Yes, that is correct. And then this is a great feature. So you'll also be able to see any rows with any problems so that you can fix those before you actually click on finish or import. But you can also change any information live if needed to as well. But from here, we'll just go ahead and finish. Are you ready to submit? Yes. And then here it's just going to tell us if that was successful or not. And just wait for that to load. Perfect, that was successful. You'll be able to see that the import was complete and it did create 2 new ones and updated one location. So that's pretty much what that'll look like there. And we'll just go back to the locations tab here and then just show you how that looks like. So now we added that Bob's Burgers Riverside location. And if you see to the far right, there is that number 1 icon that we indicated. This is the Bob's Burgers Riverside back of house sub location. So it's associated to that primary location that we mentioned. But that is essentially how you'll go ahead and create or import your locations for the first time. And I did mention we do have a dedicated help center that does give you those step-by-step instructions, everything that we went through with a little bit more detail, but you do have that option to look at that as well. So now we're going to go into the resources that you and the team currently have available besides the help article. And resources that you have available, we do have our technical support team. They are amazing. They are available via live chat Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to, Monday through Friday, 24 hours. And then we have, you are also able to email them and or are able to give them a call at 323-880-0280 Monday through Friday from 6 to 6 Pacific time, sorry, drew a blank. And then you also have the option to visit our help center. We do have a few training courses and then can join our maintenance community as well. And then we have other tutorials or video webinars as well. But yeah, hope that this helped and hope that everyone has a great rest of their day. Take care.